Decluttering can decrease your stress and anxiety and enhance your mental health. People with ADHD or ADD tendencies have problems with decluttering secondary to challenges with time management and difficulty completing tasks. They are easily distracted and may find cleaning and maintaining a decluttered home boring and/or overwhelming. Susan C. Pinsky is a professional organizer and author of the book Organizing Solutions for People with ADHD, 3rd edition. Ms. Pinsky, mother of a child with ADD, is hired by desperate clients, often as a last resort to tornado-struck homes. She works her magic through a series of principles of efficiency that works. Stay tuned to hear Ms. Pinsky's tips on efficiency and organization in your home that may change your life forever. Whether you have ADHD or just want more organization in your home with decreased effort on your part.
Baransu Balance Podcast. Balance of the mind, body, and soul helps us navigate the storms of life. Balance emphasizes the close relationship between mental and physical health. Balance says that a spiritual life and hope for tomorrow is essential. Dr. Christine Ince is a semi-retired medical oncologist and health enthusiast.
So I was a professional organizer, and I had this client, and she, again, a creative, brilliant artist, just amazing art. And we would go and do a portion of her home, her studio. We started with her studio, and then we moved on to her bedroom. And I'd come back in a week or two, and I mean, not only would she not have maintained it, sometimes, it would be worse because, again, ADHD, so it could be some impulsive shopping. Well, we weren't sticking to the shopping list, shall we say.
So the place was clean, but she went out and got even more stuff, and it was
right.
worse than when you started.
Right, and she wasn't right, so she wasn't using the don't buy anything that isn't on a shopping list method. And she also wasn't putting anything away. We'd create all these systems. Oh, look, you can put these away. Again, remember the colored pencil thing? That was her, right? And we all have the little stacks of all of her little art supplies, and the pencils were at the bottom. Well, it just wasn't working. At the same time, I had this daughter who my husband and I sort of perceived as sort of the absent-minded professor type. She's smart, but she just couldn't seem to really get things done. Then her little sister came along, 2 years younger. That kid was getting things done better than her older sister. We thought, okay, this kid's a genius. It's just that our second daughter's a genius. Then the third daughter came along. And when the kindergartner could get herself dressed, get her lunch into her backpack, and get out to the bus, while the fourth grader was still upstairs, staring at her underpants that she couldn't get on, we realized, okay, we've got a problem. That daughter was diagnosed with ADHD. And once I started learning about ADHD, I realized that all of the systems I had given this child had too many steps. They were all about just in case, do this just in case, as opposed to what really actually needs to be done. And in order to put something away, you must, first fold it and then open a drawer and then unstack these shirts and put that shirt on the bottom. Wrong. So as I started to sort of shave off all these little inefficiencies and come out with what's really important. Is it really important for her to fold her clothes? No. Right? Is it really right? That she began to be able to function better. When I put the hook next to the door so her coat and her backpack could go in a bin next to the door and on a hook, as opposed to having her walk across the room to the coat closet, well, then guess what? The backpack and coat went away. Got stowed in the correct way. So then I went back to I realized that this creative client, she was sort of exhibiting these ADHD behaviors and symptoms. She hadn't been diagnosed. But does it really matter? Turns out that she also needed to have systems that were easy to maintain. That when it came to putting things away, it was one step. Right?
Simplify.
And that she needed to not purchase anything that hadn't lived for some time on a shopping list. She really had a chance to think about it.
Reduce.
Right. So we reduced so everything in her home could be put away in one simple motion. We created a list system for anything that, now we would say, because it's years later, put it in your cart, but don't click buy, right? We created a list system. And guess what? She was able to maintain. In fact, you walk into her house today, I still know this woman, you wouldn't know she was ADHD.
Wow. Okay.
Now, if you looked in her drawers, sure, you'd see that all the T-shirts are jumbled, right? And what does it really matter? They're all perma-press anyways. They can tidy any room in under a minute.
Oh.
that don't need
Is
to be
that
done.
it sounds like a science. I like that.
Right. It's a science of efficiency. So with my
Okay.
ADHD clients, I am looking at every task in their household with what is the least amount of effort, the fewest number of steps. No mistake. The shortest path to efficiency is reduction. We want to reduce our possessions so that all of our inventory, all of our possessions fit comfortably in our storage without too many steps. Make right. If I open my kitchen cabinet and everything is in there, the dinner the bowls are on top of the salad plates, which are on top of the dinner plates. In order for me to put away a dinner plate, I've got to unstack everything. If I've reduced the items in my cabinet so that the dinner plates live next to the salad plates, live next to the bowls, then I never have to move anything. When I put my dinner plate away, I don't have to unstack anything. In order to make those three stacks, I may have to get rid of teacups. I may have to get rid of 10 varieties of cereal. Maybe I can only have Cheerios and cornflakes in the house at once, and not Cheerios, cornflakes, Count Chocula, rice
Or three sets of dishes. And I think
or
you've
three
kind of
sets.
answered. What happens if you you want a tidy home, you have a big dog, and you want to take time to go out shopping, grocery shopping, do your hair, and have a full-time job, and have a 40-minute commute to work? How do you do that?
Okay, so right. Well,
That's
obviously
life.
that's a lot, right? But that's life, right? So nobody wants
Well, without hiring someone.
right. So again, the fewer possessions you own, the fewer own you. Nobody's going to want to hear this, but when I'm trying to reduce people's tasks, I look at the tasks they have to do every day. If there's a task you have to do every day, that's the task I want to be hyper efficient and eliminate completely. Things that you nurture are things that you have to do every day. I had one client, she had 7 goats, 4 children. Each child had a dog, 3 cats, and she was
Oh,
thinking of chickens.
hmm.
There's a woman who's having a hard time getting her laundry done because and I advised against the chickens because all of these things that she was nurturing are taking up enormous amounts of time in her day. The dog taking up an enormous amount of time in your day. It's something you're nurturing daily. Cats are a little easier. I know some people are allergic because they don't require walks. So, if you're going to have the dog, get rid of the plants. If you're going to have the dog, get rid of the. I mean, I know getting rid of the cat is a little much to ask. Wherever you can outsource, the dog walks. Maybe meet up with a friend, and you walk her dog and your dog together one week, and she walks your dog and her dog together another week. So you're doing some sequential dog walking. In terms of grocery shopping, well, that's a whole different subject because that's a huge ADHD problem. You have to meal plan, you have to grocery shop, then you have to cook the meal, then you have to clean the meal. So the first thing,
And you don't want to waste the food that you just bought, which
right?
will happen close to 100% of the time.
And it's funny. I had another client, and she had some other, again, brilliant woman, but she had sort of a hyper ADHD, if you will, due to some other medical conditions that were contributing. And I'm so sorry. And she was concerned that she threw out so much food at the end of the day that she wasn't eating. But when we looked at her, I said, "Well, are you losing weight?" She was not. She wasn't aware because she had always lived alone that we all throw out a ton of food at the end of the week. My husband and I sit down every week. We menu plan. We work out who's going to be home for dinner. We grocery shop only for that week. Only for that week. We still throw out food at the end of the week. There's no way to get that perfect. There's just no way. It turns out, you weren't hungry. It turns out, it got late and you had to stop for something on the way home. It turns out somebody dropped by and ended up going out for dinner. Every week you are going to throw out food. But the way to sort of keep that food and that menu planning and control is to have a grocery list. And that grocery list should include everything that's a staple. What are staples? Most people have the same thing for breakfast every day. Most people have the same thing for lunch every day. Toilet paper is a staple. Paper towels are a staple. Anything that's a staple, whether it's a handwritten list or on your telephone, goes on the grocery. Whether it's Alexis. Alexis, put paper towels goes on the grocery list. You do not buy anything that is not on a grocery list. If the minute a staple runs low, you tell Alexis to put it on the list, you don't have to run around the house looking for, wait, do I need paper towels? Wait, do I need toilet paper? Because the minute you notice it's low, you throw it on the list. What this leaves is the only thing you have to plan for are dinners. What I recommend is you plan for 4 dinners a week. And that means 4 proteins, 4 carbs, 4 veg.
Oh, I like that. I like
right.
that.
So, right. And so, so if you're going to, and that's not too much to plan. You can do that in the grocery store. And obviously what that means is that the day you're in the grocery store, it's going to be fish and lettuce are going to be the veg and the baguette, right? Because that's going to go bad. So grocery shopping day is fish and baguette and lettuce, or the perishables. And the 4th meal, which might be all the way at the end of the week, is going to be steak and broccoli and potato, because that stuff's not going to go bad. So it's a pretty simple meal planning. And
so
then
refrigerator tips.
Refrigerator tips are clean the night before garbage night. Let's say garbage is Wednesday morning. Tuesday night's leftover night. Tuesday night, you don't cook. Remember, we're only planning for 4 meals anyways. Tuesday night is eat all your leftovers.
Okay.
Then anything that doesn't get eaten on Tuesday night goes to the trash and goes to the curb. Now the refrigerator is clear, and the dishes are pretty easy. It's just those couple of Tupperwares.
Okay.
And now Wednesday, which is garbage day, is also grocery shopping day, because now that the fridge is empty, it's easy to unload the new groceries into the fridge. So you don't have to. Again, I learned so much from my ADHD clients. They're just you asked what are some of the traits. One of the traits is creative and brilliant. But I had a recent client, and she calls it keeping the house helper ready, not guest ready, helper ready. You want the house to be good enough that if there's a flood in the basement, the plumber can get to the boiler without tripping over stuff, right?
Okay.
Right. You don't, so maybe the basement doesn't look terrific, but you can walk across it, right?
Okay.
If you're lucky enough to have a housekeeper, that she can come in and clean easily.
Okay.
So we're not looking for magazine perfect. We're looking for help ready. In order to,
we want the house to be in a condition, organized enough that you would allow a housekeeper to come in to clean.
Now, look, a housekeeper is a wonderful thing. Wherever people with ADHD can delegate these tedious tasks to those of us who don't mind them, they should do that, because they should be out there with their brilliant ideas. And people like me who, can dot I's and cross T's should be doing that tedious labor while they come up with the brilliant ideas. One of the classics I always use an example of is socks. Why are we rolling and matching socks? If you buy all the same socks, you never have to roll and match a sock again.
So if all of your socks are black and the same brand,
right, and
no problem.
Right, and that may cost a little extra money. Right, and this came up with a client I had who was matching socks for her 4 children. This one had little bows on it, and that one had little red stripes, and this one, and it was enormous. There's this enormous pile of socks sitting there on the bed. Well, if all of the socks had been one size fits all and one color, she'd have just gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and plopped that pile into this kid's room and that pile into that kid's room. Why are we wasting our lives matching socks? Now, that does mean you've got to be comfortable with and I myself, but look, I started doing this for my clients, and then I realized for my ADHD clients, this sort of draconian hyper efficiency, hyper reduction. And then it occurred to me, you know what? I don't want to waste my time picking up and organizing and maintaining. Why don't I be hyper efficient in my life? And pretty much anybody who calls me and is worried about organization, whether you have a bad back or 4 kids and a full-time job, so you don't have time, there's really no reason not to be efficient, right? So I do. My sock drawer is just black socks, and then I have 3 or 4 specialty socks, 1 pair of ski socks, 1 pair of fuzzy socks, 1 pair of little tenny socks, which get worn maybe once a year. It doesn't become not a odious burden to match 4 socks once each a year. But yeah, every black sock matches every black sock.
Okay, so
or if cream is your color, every cream sock matches every cream sock. But you got to couldn't get the garbage into the garbage can in their kitchen. And I said, well, show me where the garbage can is. She walks over to the kitchen sink. She plays with the child lock. Mind you, her children are teenagers at this point. The child lock is her. She opens the door. There's a little one of those garbage cans where the lid goes up if you depress it with your foot, but because it's under a cabinet, it only goes up this far. She stuffs the thing in there. Well, no wonder this gentleman doesn't throw out the garbage. So I advised her to take the garbage out from underneath the cabinet, take the lid off, and then the gentleman can just wing his garbage into the garbage. It's almost fun. It's almost as easy as dropping it on the counter. Will he always do it? Probably not, because he's going to get distracted. But when she has to go around and clean up after him, it's going to be easier for her. She's going to be less resentful because it takes less time and less effort. Is it as attractive as having the garbage can or the sink? Absolutely not. But it's more attractive than having banana peels and dirty paper towels on the counter. So that's just getting something. A half full can doesn't need to be done. And in fact, because people who with ADHD tend to function a little better if there's some urgency, they're going to be more likely to empty the can, frankly, when it's close to overflowing. Oh. So that will give them that little bit of motivation. So, it is a science.
Okay. So what if the cleaning takes more than 1 minute per room? Do people need? I read in your book something about body doubling. What is that concept?
Right.
Or how does that help?
So let the cook off the hook. The entire family does the dinner dishes together.
Okay.
Having the entire family in the room.
So it's a group effort.
Right.
Well, and first of all, the eating together is a wonderful goal.
Right. And frankly, doing dishes together is a wonderful goal. I've heard from clients that since they started this, some of the best conversations they've had with their children, I'm actually seeing one in particular, is at the sink because they're not looking at each other. So the kid can talk about feeling, the daughter's got her hands in the sink, the mother's drying the dishes and putting them away. It's like being in the car, right? The kid doesn't have to look right at you. And it's become a fun family or a warm and comfortable family time. Mm-hmm. I tend to put the ADHD person with their hands actually in the sink because having their hands in the sink grounds them at the sink. If you put them on, washing down the table or sweeping the floor, they can get distracted. They can start, especially the younger ones, they'll start to run away or get in their own head. But having your hands in the soapy water grounds you right at the sink, and having everybody else in the room lends their attention. We are lending focus. I have a client who I go to once a month, and I just sit next to her while she does her bills and paperwork.
Okay, so that's the concept of a body double. So
right.
Someone who may not necessarily have the problem with concentrating to go into the room and clean with them.
Right. So always clean in a team. If you have an ADHD family member, it's really much better to clean as a team. And if you can afford it, you can hire someone like me to just sit next to you while you do your work. But now there are wonderful communities online where people make an appointment and they get together, 4 or 5 people, and they say, okay, I'm going to do it. And they say, okay, the task I'm going to do is, I don't know, let's come up with taxes. And they make an appointment with these 5 other people. And the other person's task might be, I'm going to finish my correspondence. But for that hour, they're all online. They're all looking at each other the way you and I are looking at each other right now. And they're each doing their individual task. And that group focus lends focus. So the body double lends focus.
It's support then. So,
right.
So we're talking about, organizing our home space and maybe office space. And do you ever chat with your clients about other aspects of organizing? I know you talk about organizing their bills or
right. So what's really funny about the bill thing is that people my age will still have checkbooks, right? And they'll still.
That would be my husband. Okay.
Right. Oops. So I was going to say that how I organize for people now is very different from how I organized 25 years ago when I started out. 25 years ago, I was organizing books and CDs and filing cabinets. People under 40 don't have these things. I don't talk about stationery anymore because nobody has, well, my generation does. They have Facebook, right? They've got Instagram. They don't need to write cards. They post things to each other. And the same thing with bill paying. that the older generation will still have paper files and checkbooks. The younger people don't own any of that. Everything is done digitally. Nonetheless, one has to keep track of it, right? So
I
although
mean, you could have bills that go out of your account for years and be unaware of it. To me, that's
right,
not a good idea.
right. So what I recommend is that you have one day a week, and we can call it Bill Paying Tuesday, where you sit down and you just look through your credit card, it's getting the automatic withdrawals, and your bank account. Everything online, absolutely. Everything automatic withdrawal, absolutely. But you have to look at it, right? Now, I make it bill, let's say it's Bill Paying Tuesday. There's going to be the Tuesday that my client doesn't get to it because they're ADHD. But because it's a regular thing, they'll get to it next week. And even if they go a month, that's better than never seeing it at all. By knowing that Tuesday is the day I sit down and just open up my statement and look at it, and open up my credit card statement and look at it, we at least establish some form of routine. We're not reinventing the wheel every week. I also recommend, though, simplify. One credit card.
Right.
That's only one statement to look at. One bank account. Maybe financially it's better off to diversify into Sherman Leeson and Goldman Sachs. But are you someone who can keep track of that stuff? And if you're not, it's better to keep track of a less diversified.
Simplify. Okay.
Right. I am always looking for I'm always trying to shave off the little inefficiencies, right? Because it's not one little inefficiency, aggregate of a million inefficiencies. It's doing all these tasks you don't need to do. It's, again, having to take those dishes and run them across the room. It's and take the blender to the laundry room because it doesn't fit in the kitchen because you're not storing things where you use them. It's the seasonal switching of clothing. Can that task be eliminated? Well, if we reduce our clothes all seasons to what fits in our closet, that task just goes away, right? It's a whole task just went away, right? If we reduce the number of things in our garage so that whether it's a sled for the winter or a boogie board for the summer, it fits in our garage. We don't have to schlep it to the basement and schlep it back. Again, an entire task that's gone away. What tasks can we completely eliminate? Because that's too much for them. What you can do is take a little timer and say, okay, I'm going to set this timer for 3 minutes and do whatever you can in 3 minutes and let the kid run around in 3 minutes and as much as they get to, and you do it with them. I guarantee that it's going to be done sooner than 3 minutes. But if it isn't, whatever is done, that's good enough, right? That even better is the enemy of good enough. We don't want to be perfectionists with ADHD.
Wait, what was that last statement? Something is the enemy of what?
Even better is the enemy of good enough.
Oh,
do not want perfectionism, right? But the other tip I would give with young children is very much avoid large opaque bins. So you don't want a kid, in order to get to the, you don't want to, let's say the old the Duplo bins, which are tall and opaque. For the kid to play with the Duplo, he has to dump them all over, immediately making a mess. What you want to do is take those Duplos and put them in a low open bin. That way you can just sit down and shift around and find the piece he wants.
Okay.
Same thing with the Legos, that you can put them on a blanket. They have the blanket drawstrings now. Spreads it all out. You can see it all. And when he's done, when the kid is done, you just tie it up. So you never want to dump over. If I put my Legos in boxes, then I'm dumping over the boxes to play with them. You don't want to be dumping. So,
okay. That sounds good.
So even the old toy box, right? If I'm looking for something at the bottom of the toy box, it means I'm disemboweling the toy box, right? 4 or 5 items, 4 or 5 stuffies in a toy box, sure. But you don't want 15, 30 items in a toy box that the kid, in order to find the piece that's at the bottom, he's pulling everything else out and making immediately a mess. Right. Like in fact, with my ADHD clients, with the keys and the wallet, the things that are really important, the phone, I use what I call the sticky fingers method, which is, and you can only use it for a couple things or it doesn't work. If you use it for everything, this doesn't work. But sort of these keys are stuck to my fingers, and I can't get them off. But there's a magic about this bowl that releases those keys, so that the wallet, but 2 or 3 things: the wallet, the keys, the phone. Right. Sticky fingers. And before you leave the house,
that you have where you can just kick it off and put it on in the bottom of your closet or on a bookshelf.
Right, because
I like that, because I mean that is very little effort to kick
Right.
off your shoe and put it at the bottom of your closet.
Yes.
Thank you, Susan C. Pinsky, for sharing with us tips from your years of organizational expertise. My 3 takeaways. Number 1, simplify, simplify, simplify. Simplify your kitchen, reduce the number of dishes, simplify your bedroom, learn how to make your bed in 30 seconds, simplify your child's bedroom, change the toy box from a deep and wide to flat and long, simplify your finances. Number 2, reduce, reduce, reduce. Reduce your things. Start off with different categories. Your clothes, if you haven't worn it for more than a year, get rid of them. Do you really need all of those shoes? And what about the number of sheets? Susan says you just need 2 sheets per bed. What is comfortable in your storage space and takes the minimal amount of steps to get the job done? Efficiency. Simplify your bank accounts, finances. After the reduction, make a game of it. How much can you straighten out in 1 minute per room? Instead of Taco Tuesday, make it Finance Tuesday. For activities that take more than a minute, get a buddy, like your spouse, or if you're the parent, with your children, have that family meal and get together at the kitchen. If you're by yourself, put on some music. Use your creativity, your God-given creativity, to think of solutions. If you have a longer project, maybe get an online group to help with you. There is hope. Decluttering and efficiency will enhance your peace of mind, whether you have ADHD or not. I highly recommend this book, Organizing Solutions for People with ADHD by Susan C. Pinsky. This is Dr. Christine Ince wishing you a balanced mind, body, and soul. Please like, subscribe, and comment.